Inner peace is a goal that many of us desire but only experience fleetingly. But what is inner peace? How do we cultivate it, and how do we keep hold of it? These are the questions I'm going to be answering in this video, so let's go and find out. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Mastermind Content Archetypes series, and in this video we're going to be discussing the divine child and its relationship to inner peace, which is really quite simple because we are born as the divine child, and in this state of bliss the self is intact and we don't have a care in the world. However, as we start to age, especially around the age of 2 when the ego comes online, the whole personality does not stay intact for long. Once the ego develops and gradually disowns parts of the personality, we become torn apart, much like the Greeks showed through the god of Dionysus. So when the personality becomes severed, we experience emotional turmoil, dissatisfaction and frustration, mood swings, overwhelm, panic attacks, chronic anxiety and other types of emotional disturbance or neuroticism. Carljung noted that the goal in mid to the latter part of life is to reconnect with this inner self, with the inner child, and return to this state of bliss, or what some people call home. I'll explain how you can do that later in this video, but for now let's examine how to identify whether the wounded child is a dominant influence in your subconscious programs. In archetypal psychology, the divine child is also known as the innocent because it is considered as a symbol of purity that is unpolluted by the troubles of life. However, the original word for innocent had a different meaning to what we perceive it to be today. The etymology of the word from various traditions is essentially a person that does no evil, that is free from sin, guilt or moral wrong, harmless, pure and chaste. And as Clarissa Pinkola Estes wrote in her book Women Who Room with Wolves, the word innocent is often used to mean a person of no knowing or a simpleton, but the roots of the word mean to be free of injury or hurt. In Spanish, the word inocente is understood to mean a person who tries not to harm another, but who also is able to heal any injury or harm to himself. To be an innocent means to be able to see clearly what is the matter and to mend it. These are the powerful ideas behind innocence. It is considered not only an attitude about avoiding harm to others or self, but also an ability to mend and restore oneself and others. So here we see that the divine child is not so much a person who is unpolluted by life's troubles, but has healed the emotional wounds that underlie life's troubles. It is a person who has found peace within themselves, with others and with the world. They have essentially returned home. The problem many of us have is that we become so disconnected from our inner child that we tend to ignore it. We never go home. Now this is because the ego is so attached to things in the outer world which are fueled with emotion, and the emotional pull the ego responds to separates us from our true nature. Now, the more disconnected we become from the self, the more distant we are from our inner child, the further away we are from returning home. If you understand the Jungian concept of the self-ego axis, you probably know that the ego outgrows and outshouts the self until it is no longer heard. Even if you feel your intuition, you may ignore it. And when the archetype is undeveloped, you are infantile, immoral, pretentious, deceitful, envious and needy. This personality type also has a lack of world experience, which makes you gullible, naive, easily coerced, hopelessly codependent, shy and lacking initiative. On the flip side, if the divine child is activated and you are developing it, then you are more open to new experiences, adventures, you're more accepting, carefree and eager to learn. When this energy is fully developed, you're able to live in the moment and have a zest for life because of the bliss you experience most of the time. Now, you could argue that this is why the word innocent is associated with a simpleton these days, because simpletons are generally regarded as being joyous and playful because they lack awareness and refuse to take on adult responsibilities. We call them innocent because they are ignorant, essentially, and as they say, ignorance is bliss. However, ignorance is not an effective solution for cultivating inner peace. The way to cultivate inner peace is to free yourself from external attachments that your ego believes will meet your goals, desires and needs. See, the ego is only concerned with protecting your emotional security, which it does by going in search of things that offer comfort, joy or pleasure. And for a short while you may experience inner peace, but it is only fleeting. But what about when your needs are not met? How do you behave then? Adults that are heavily influenced by the divine child become infantile and throw a tantrum. Just saying. But seriously, how many adults do you know behaving like children? And hands up if you've behaved like a child as an adult. Let's admit it, we've all been there. Another way that you see the undeveloped aspects of the divine child surfacing in adults is people that don't take on responsibility and make a commitment to life through endeavour. So when the divine child is wounded, you back out of challenges because you don't want to take on the responsibility. And the Swiss psychoanalyst Carljung called this type of person the puer aeternus, or puella eterna for women. So here we find individuals who basically don't want to grow up, and today it's better known as the Peter Pan syndrome. Basically, these type of people avoid dealing with their emotions. And puers and puellas tend to be charmers and dreamers who have great plans for the future, but they never take decisive action and steps towards their goals. Now, in her book, The Archetypal Significance of Gilgamesh, Rivka Scharf-Kruger wrote that the problem of the pueri aeterni, who, if they do not take the challenge and watch the clock, live in chronic promise of the future. In other words, you live in your head and never actually get round to taking decisive action and doing anything about it, even when you have a genuine desire to fulfill the goal. Now, at its core, the divine child teaches you that life can be simple if you are playful and fun to be around. How many of us as adults forfeit our sense of freedom and spontaneity and replace it with professionalism, where we can feel stifled? At the side of your personality that chases your goals, desires and needs is too distracted and absorbed by the external world that we forget how we feel inside, or what our inner child actually wants. And when the ego associates with external factors to ensure your goals, desires and needs are met, You chase your dreams in pursuit of happiness and fulfillment, but in doing so entirely forget that happiness and fulfillment comes from within and is only experienced in an outward sense, fleetingly. So I'd find inner peace, we have to return home essentially and reconnect with the inner child, and you can do that basically by speaking with yourself. You can also do this by letting go of attachments that do not serve you and being more playful in all areas of your life. Now, when you're more playful and have no desire, you find it easier to connect with others, which is actually where we develop happiness and fulfillment. And if you would like to know more about cultivating happiness and fulfillment, then check out the free downloadable content on the Mastermind Content homepage titled Find Purpose and Meaning and Transform Your Life. Now, in this content you get a totally free strategy, a 4-step strategy of how to cultivate happiness and fulfillment. So to download the content, simply go to the Mastermind Content homepage, scroll down a little and click on the link under the image of Find Your Purpose and Meaning. And if you liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any more insightful nuggets. I'm Richard Oldale and this is Mastermind Content. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.